Hello guys, I'd like to explain my journey when I was new doing Java. I came from a C++ background, and recently I was doing Java and I was a little bit disoriented in the way how Java works, and most especially with regards to how to pull dependencies. And as you know, this pulling of dependency from the network remotely is not in C++ world. In the C++ world, you everything you have everything within the file system as an .o file or as a library or a DLL or a .so, and you link them in the build process. And when I tried to do Java, I saw that its way of pulling dependencies is different, as it downloads it from the internet dynamically at runtime, something like that. So after a while, when I learned it, it was very easy, especially when you do Java as in a standard Gradle project setup. You can just declare your dependencies in the Gradle file in terms of that triple coordinates that identifies that dependency. For example, here, if you need a bouncy castle jar, it will you just declare this statement in a Gradle file. And this is also the same in Maven, in a Maven project. However, today when I try to do a project that mixed language of Java and Kotlin, that is, I have a project that is in Kotlin which calls Java and vice versa in a single project. It's not easy to do in a standard Gradle or Maven project. It could be passable, but I don't know how to do that at the moment. However, if you set up your project natively in the IDE, that is, you create a project that is not a Gradle or nor Maven, but instead it's a native format of the IDE, then it's quite very easy to mix Kotlin and Java, and I'm going to show you now. Create new project, select Java, and then just check this Kotlin GVM. So we should have a project that is a mix of Kotlin and GVM and Java. And let's call this Kotlin Java. Now let us go to the file system. And these are the files that get created. It is empty. And you can also see that it is not a Gradle project nor a Maven project. Instead, it is a specific project format of the IDE in the IntelliJ. Now let us create a Kotlin file. And let us try to build to see if this works. And step debug. And indeed we see the hello message printed, so the Kotlin part is working. So now let us add a Java file. This is a class Smiggle, which just adds two numbers. There. And let us instantiate that Java class here in Kotlin. And then call one of its method and display the result. Let's see. Just put a breakpoint here and step debug. And indeed, we can instantiate the Java class within Kotlin, and we can step into the Java class also, and go back to Kotlin and display the result. So now we have successfully combined Java and Kotlin in a single project. Like I said again, this is not easy to do in a standard Gradle project or Maven. So far, I've only been able to do this in this native project format in the IDE. So the question now becomes, how do we pull in dependencies? And there's no Gradle file here, there's no pom.xml here. So it turns out that the way to pull in dependencies is not specific to the IDE, and there are two ways to do that. So, but before doing that, let me give a history of what happened when I learned Java for the first time. What happened is that um, I ended up downloading every jar that I'm wanting to use. For example, I want to use bytes. That jar I downloaded into my hard disk locally because it was the very first months of learning Java, and I didn't even know that Maven exists or Gradle exists, and there's a declarative way of declaring the dependencies that you need, and the build system will download it for you. I didn't know that. I mean, I know it. I've heard about it, but I don't know how. I don't even see Gradle file or maybe in project settings, because I was creating Java projects natively in the IDE just like this one. It turns out that it's both of that experience helped me because, for example, this time we can add the jar file that we have in our hard disk in this project like this. So go to project structure and go to modules, and then there's a plus icon here. Then select this will also work, and just go to the directory where you have the jar file. It may seem to appear that this is a folder, but if we go back to the actual content, is actually a jar file. So we just select this jar file. Okay, and close open the project to refresh everything. And in the external libraries, you should now be able, you now have the bytes, this jar bytes 1.3.0 jar dependency, and you'll be able to use all the methods of that jar file in your project. The second way of doing this is would be like this. Again, project structure, and click this, and then from Maven, and then you have to paste these Maven coordinates here. You'll try to search for it. So the IDE is now downloading the dependency for us. It found it, and then it will be downloaded here. So select that so you can see that it is relative to our project. Okay, so you can see the difference now that it did not appear in the external libraries dependency. Okay, the bouncy castle. But let's try to examine it here. But everything seems to be here. And furthermore, one of the difference is if you go to the file system, there is now a lib folder and it has the bouncy castle. But of course we know that the other dependencies is in the other folder. So this one is the one that we fetch from Maven. So now that you have the dependencies, let's try to use one of it. Um, A is in that one, is in the bouncy castle. Yep. So indeed, we're able to to mix Kotlin and Java at the same time, pull in the dependencies. So that's all. So the summary here is that mixing Java and Kotlin in a standard Gradle or Maven project is something that I haven't been able to do, but it's easy to do in a native project in the IDE, just such as we saw here. So that is all.